Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. What's the story?
I have Obiano. So EFCC says it will be calling 15 witnesses to prove the 4 billion theft charges it filed against the former governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano. So he, of course, before the court, he pleaded not guilty. I'll just read some of the charges that were brought before him. We have that EFCC alleges that Obiano diverted Anambra security votes in the tune of over 4 billion while he was governor between 2014 and 2022, accusing him of indirectly transferring through his private principal secretary 1.2 billion from the state security votes account to another account belonging to Moment of Peace Venture, an entity with no business with the estate, and also accuse him of indirectly transferring the sum of 860 million plus from the state security vote account through his principal private secretary, Willie Mwokoye, to Voodoo Ventures, an entity with no business to the government, and so on and so forth. So that's what.
So when someone like this changes 4 billion naira to dollars,
there is scarcity immediately.
There'll be scarcity.
Yeah.
When there's scarcity, naira goes up and they'll be shouting, oh, 1,300 naira.
And the economy is bad. It's not the economy. It's the people.
Obiano, however, pleaded
Obiano is government,
guilty.
He's a Nigerian now.
He is government.
He's a Nigerian.
But he's a government
He's
official.
a Nigerian.
Let's see how
Because
the
he was a
court
Nigerian before he became government.
Excuse me.
We don't have time.
You're commenting.
Who is the government? Is it not the people?
Government
It's
is
the
not,
people.
is not a person.
Is it not the people?
It's yes, no, I'm saying we're saying the same thing.
We are not saying the same thing.
So you and I,
We are not saying the same thing.
enter government and we do exactly the
They
same
say we
thing.
shouldn't comment, but we are not saying the
let's
same
move on.
thing.
Fine on that story. Nigerians, we the people.
The man said not guilty.
Okay,
Innocent
no,
until
so it's an
proven guilty.
allegation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
10 Ibadan explosion victims still missing. This is quite concerning. So the Bodija Estates Residents Association in Ibadan Wednesday said that about 10 people were still missing following the January 17 explosion. The Punch reports that 5 people died, 77 sustained varying degrees of injuries, and 58 houses were damaged during the explosion that rocked Deji Oyelisa Street in Ibadan, Oyo State. So Governor Seyi Makinde, who's already presented the preliminary report to the president, is now saying we still think there are 8 and 9, possibly 10 bodies missing. And the residents of the Bodija Association are saying, if you don't see these people, you didn't see them yesterday, we haven't seen them the day before, you know, they're missing. We need to find these people. So there's the outcry for that. And members of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party on Wednesday visited Governor Makinde to commiserate with him and the people of the state over the explosion. Our hearts and souls just really continue to stay with the families of, you know, the deceased and with injured people from the explosion.
Yeah, so we're still updating, more updates on the EFCC probing the Forex scandal. This is to the tune of 347 billion that was given, some of them were given to foreign firms. So the review actually extends beyond the past administration. This is from January 2014 to June 2023. And the findings said that they had to expand the net, not just some local companies, some foreign companies. If we recollect, there was the investigation that unveiled how Dangote group got a special rates from the past CBN governor, and EFCC probed that. And they're still probing several other companies that were getting education, engineering, food got a lot of money. These are dollars allocated to the companies at the official rate when they, like, at different rates. You know, we had multiple rates. That's what they're investigating. My hope is that while we don't want media trial, we want a tight investigation. We need some scapegoats for the economical challenges that Nigerians are facing, and we need it soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, Daily Sun, more horror in Plateau State as government invade Mangu again, kill 30 despite curfew in place. IPOB replies Buhari over Kanu. No plan to relocate federal capital to Lagos's presidency. Kidnapping, Wike sanctions establishment of vigilante groups in FCT. Abga crisis, Njoku accuses INEC chair of contempt of court. Politicians have unleashed bandits on Tinubu's government, says Niger APC chieftain. Naira undervalued, says CBN governor, vows to crash inflation to 21%. And 7.2 million children accessing education in Nigeria's IDP camp, says UNICEF. Okay, so
Plateau State. We're here again. So Here is the Mogovul Development Association. They've expressed sadness over the killing of 30 people in the village in Mangu local government area, alongside destruction of houses and properties, including food items that were burnt down completely. And in this report, it says, by suspected Fulani machineries. They said the attack happened barely 24 hours after the governor had imposed a dusk to dawn curfew in Mangu area of the state. They're saying this is unfortunate that this has happened because there was security alert that was received Monday, 22nd of January, and even though the security forces were aware of an impending attack, it still happened. This carnage went on unhindered. There's also the calling out of the security personnel, especially the military, that had been stationed in the area. And they are wondering how these attacks were carried out even with these soldiers there. And so they're asking that they be taken away from there and the military police be put there instead.
I read the story in Tribune, and the one young guy who wanted to be unidentified said the youth had told the women and children to go to the community leaders' residence because they had heard that the attack was going to come.
Wow.
That it is that residence, Gogo, that they went and made sure that they burnt it with all those people inside, women and children.
So there must be a mole within there.
Yeah, it was in, and there were so many other things that, and then I heard the governor, the governor gave he said this is not farmer herders, that we should stop saying it's farmer herders, it's not farmer herders, that this is genocide.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
He said it, he said this is genocide. Another senator said that it is the mineral resources that they are doing away with the just people, not just Plateau state people so that they can have access. That senator, he broke it down, Gogo. He said, tin, you see tin everywhere. That is what they want. Anyway.
You want to say go to judge them?
No, the thing is very painful for me.
It's upsetting.
These people are losing their lives because of the mineral resources. It's not fair now.
It's upsetting.
And
we're not watching a movie.
The Commissioner for Information Culture, the former Commissioner for Information Culture, that's Jonathan Vass, raised the alarm that the escalation of bandits' activities in the nation's capital, Abuja, was specifically because they're trying to make the government unpopular before the 2027 elections. He specifically said that he was an APC publicity secretary. He said that this is the same strategy that was unleashed against Jonathan back in 2015 towards the general elections, where the bombs were being released all over the country, including Abuja, that made them lose the elections at the time. He said immediately after the general elections, things subsided, and that same strategy is being employed now. Said that it's the same strategy that those behind the current rise in banditry and activities in Abuja have adopted to make the current government unpopular.
So, current minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has directed the 6 area council chairmen of the nation's capital city to set up vigilante groups and also ensure immediate profiling of members of those groups. He was speaking during a security meeting with members of the FCT Council of Chiefs and the council chairman, and the minister said the administration would continue to work with traditional rulers, but that for now they are sanctioning establishment of vigilante groups. They are already, from the callers that called on the show yesterday, they are already vigilante groups that are become the succor for some locals within. I think it's important we also integrate them so that this doesn't become a funnel for corruption and funds into empowering people. Let's put people that understand security in the vigilante groups and ensure that we're able to curb kidnapping within.
Okay, I think Abuja. Most of the headlines in Plateau, I think we've taken them. Plateau, gunmen defy curfew, kill about 30. Relief coming with more forex, reduced inflation, says CBN governor. No plan to move federal capital to Lagos, says presidency. Aiyedatiwa picks deputy sacks cabinet. Roads, FG meets Elumelu Dangote others on PPP. And FG's revenue trapped in commercial banks, says Ramfak. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. Find a story we've not taken at all. We have a story there, Vanguard?
No.
Okay.
In Tribune, I do.
Tribune, let's see. Gunmen defy curfew, kill 25 in Plateau local government. Aftermath of Supreme Court judgment, fears mount over Lagos waterways assets. Only 43% of 6,000 schools in Nigeria meet minimum safety standards, says UNICEF. Ibadan explosion, number of fatalities still unknown, persons still unaccounted for, says Residents Association. FG will review concession agreement for 43.2 billion naira Ibadan dry port and others. And Naira currently undervalued, says CBN. Makinde Adeleke, other PDP Southwest stakeholders meet in Ibadan today. Okay.
So the aftermath of Supreme Court judgment that is raising fears over Lagos waterways assets. I'm particularly concerned about this. I'm totally a water baby and I can't just imagine us having any problems in that area. But really what's happening is that following the decision of the nation's apex court, the Supreme Court, to bar Lagos State from regulating inland waterways, activities in the state, both operators have all raised concerns over the continuous management of some multi-billion naira assets that were already installed and commissioned by the Lagos State government. So pretty much what's happening now is the fear and concern for assets, particularly at LASWA, the Lagos State Waterways Authority in Falomo, where now, these boats and other, waterway assets are kind of just beginning to sit fallow if something isn't done. And they mustn't rot away. Like, we need to manage this. So if the federal government wants to step in to regulate what needs to happen, they need to be stepping in yesterday. If it's going to be left to Lagos State to manage it as they've been managing it, we need to, just commit to the way forward and not let those assets rot away. That would be a shame.
We've had cases where, because a case is in court, we would have a full ship wreck on our waterways. And now Lagos State has invested so much money in this, on the waterways to provide security, and even they were listing the things that they have as assets and asking if the judgment is going to say that we don't have access to it, somebody must take responsibility for those things. Or you give the assets back to Lagos State or something.
Okay, any other story in Tribune?
Yes, I have a story. Just 6,000, 43%, only 43% of schools in Nigeria meet minimum safety standard from UNICEF. The UNICEF said that based on their evaluation, the indications are that majority of Nigerian schools don't meet minimum safety standard. The breakdown of what they feel is they said that these things would affect, they are open to violence, they are open to natural hazards, they are open to conflicts, that the infrastructure is not, they are weak infrastructure on ground. The UNICEF country manager, Mrs. Christine Mundete, said, Nigeria has shown commitment to increase education, but there's still a lot more to be done. And if they are quoting for 3%, then it means there's a whole lot more to be done. They said it during the International Day for Education, and basically that's it.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, once our hot topic of today, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.